what's up? Welcome back to another edition of the Mandatory. Remember, if you like the content, hit that like and subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media channels. We're at the Mandatory TKO. And of course, we got our personal social media channels there up on the screen. So make sure to follow us on there as well. And lots to get into. I mean, there is a lot, but there's not a lot because I think we know where we're going to go with this. But drop your comments because this is an interactive show. And remember, you can find us on the audio side as well. So if you're not able to catch us here on YouTube, remember, wherever you get your shows and podcasts, we're there too. So you can listen to us in your car. If you're at the gym, we're everywhere with you. Just remember to subscribe to us there as well. Leave us a rate and review. Give us a 5-star. And thanks so much because of you. Our channel is growing and we do appreciate it. Bryan, before we put up that little ticker there at the bottom saying that Inoue beat Akhmadaliev by unanimous decision, I want to go to our good friend Jesus, because right in the chat before the show started, the intro was playing. Jesus said, MJ took the payday. Jesus always has the best comments, by the way. Good friend of the show. All right, let's get back to put that ticker up again. That little thing, lower third, whatever. So Naoya Inoue beat MJ Akhmadaliev by unanimous decision. Bryan, were you surprised that there wasn't a stoppage in this one, though? Or, like, what did you think about the fight?
No, I remember I told you, I was like, I feel like this will be a decision because Akhmadaliev can hang in there. But, I regret not, like, because before the fight, I was like, I think we're overrating Akhmadaliev and the challenge he's going to give to Inoue, because people were saying this is the win that Inoue needs to validate his undisputed title run, because this is the unequivocal second best guy in the weight class. And it's like, he lost to Murodjon Akhmadaliev. He lost his opportunity. Like we talk about this with the Xander Zayas thing all the time with Sebastian Fundora. And people are like, oh, Xander Zayas, like, he gets a title and it's bullshit. And then it's like, well, Sebastian Fundora had the title and vacated it and could have fought him and didn't. And then he beat the guy that beat Charles Conwell, so they don't want to give him credit for that. This is similar, where it's like no one wants to give Naoya Inoue credit for, not no one. A lot of people don't want to give, or some people, I should say, stateside, don't want to give Naoya Inoue like the full-blown credit because, whatever excuses they try to find at this point. And it's like, this is the guy. Now they're going to move the goalposts again and say like, oh, he lost to Tapalos before. And it's like, well, yeah, when you guys were calling this guy the number 2 in this weight class, Akhmadaliev, after we were like, yo, he lost to Murodjon Akhmadaliev. Murodjon Akhmadaliev, who was more competitive against Inoue than Akhmadaliev was. And we see this fight, and it's like, yeah, this is about what we expected. He caught Inoue a couple of times over the course of 12 rounds, but he lost almost every round. Some would say maybe every round. And Inoue just outboxed him. He would block a lot of shots. He would slip. He would counter. He would push him back. He would, with that right hand right down the center. Again, orthodox versus southpaw. That right hand straight down the middle was killing Akhmadaliev as well. He tried, but I mean, Inoue's too good. And Inoue might fight a 4th time this year. When's the last time you had a world-class dude fight 4 times in a year?
Canelo, which is interesting.
When was it? I don't even remember. It's been a minute. The last time he did 4 in a year. Okay.
No, but I from what I remember, like a top guy, because at the time Canelo was like the top guy, and he was fighting 4 times a year. That was the run where he fought like Billy Joe Saunders and whatnot.
No, he didn't do 4.
He did 4 that year.
He did 3. He didn't.
Well, within I remember he fought 4 times that year. He was scheduled to fight 4 times that year.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. So there's a bit of a loophole here. So
but it is true. I am right though. He fought 4 times that year.
Within a year, not in the year. So it's a little bit of
but that's the same thing, dude. Like,
for example, can I tell you the streak?
No. You know why? Because we'll get into this on another episode, but like the amount of hate and Jesus is gonna love this, but like the amount of hate that Canelo was getting and the amount of criticism that he's getting when he lost to Bud, like people just forget about what he's done. And he's been holding down boxing for like a decade. And so it's like, let's not take away from what he's done. Dude, like he was the biggest draw for how long?
That's fine, but he was the problem. The problem people have is he's the biggest draw fighting like John Ryder and Edgar Berlanga and Jaime
That's
Munguia.
recently though,
No,
dude.
but that's what people are giving him shit over is the last couple years. Is
I mean, Mayweather did the same
since
thing.
Bivol.
Like,
Since Bivol.
let's
I
Mayweather.
give Mayweather shit for that too. There's people who think Mayweather ruined boxing.
I know exactly, but they do that to Mayweather too. But at the same time, people will sit here and be like, "Yo, he's the GOAT." Right? Like you could argue that. And so this is not about Canelo or Mayweather, but it's just like the amount of criticism that he's getting, I don't think that's fair, dude. He put his legacy on the line. Like guys don't do that. He did it. Is he washed? I don't know, probably, whatever. Like, but don't but it's like don't forget what he's done though. You know what I mean? Like it's for example, like if Jokic goes and wins like 3 more championships, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but like say that happens, it's not like we're going to forget what LeBron did for the NBA for like 2 decades. You know what I mean? Like we shouldn't forget about what LeBron did. That's my point. Anyway, sorry for that rant there. Go on. What's the loophole?
The time when Canelo Alvarez fought 4 times within a year span was December 2020, December 2020, February 2021, May 2021. And November of 2021. So that's within 12 months. It was Callum Smith and V. Yildirim, which that was absolutely like this. That's the definition of a stay busy fight. Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Plant were the last 2 there, those were competitive fights up until they weren't. And Callum Smith was very, 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 very one-sided. But that was like the end of peak Canelo right there, because then he ran into Bivol and it's been it. But Naoya Inoue is it looks like he's going to do that, and with Naoya Inoue, I mean, the Ramon Cardenas fight was a lot more competitive than this, but like that happened within this year. This is a fight of the year candidate. Like you're going to be talking about Inoue again in fighter of the year conversations, which has been a theme basically for the last, I don't know how many years of his career at this point, where he's always in that conversation. You have to do it this year based on activity, even if like I'm somebody who's like, you could only beat the people in your weight class. Yeah. But I look at Akhmadaliev and I'm like, I didn't think he had a shot, but that's really more of a testament to Inoue, for example. Like Roy Jones Jr., people will look at his career and be like, oh, you know, like when he was at his peak, did he really beat the best guys? And I'm like, well, look at who was in his weight class. You know what I mean? Like, look at who's in his weight class. And that's not to even mention guys like James Toney, for example. And then later on, obviously, you know, you had the Antonio Tarver stuff. But with Inoue, he's beating the dudes in his weight class. He beat Akhmadaliev. He beat Marlon Tapales. Like, even before that, when Tapales had a title, Ramon Cardenas was legit. Luis Neri is legit. That was last year. He had a stay busy fight in January, whatever. But, like, he's that dude. And pound for pound wise, you're going to just continue to rotate Usyk and Crawford and Inoue. And we got to start throwing Bivol in there, but he's clearly 4th at the same time. But those are clearly the 4 best dudes, like, right now, and have probably been since, I don't know, at least a few years at this point.
So in terms of just what I saw in that fight, because I didn't get a chance to talk about it, it was just pure domination, right? Like, I love the fact that Inoue was patient and he was a lot better defensively. Like, he took his time during the entire fight, and technically, I think that was one of Inoue's best fights. Like, he didn't get the stoppage, but like Brian said in our, you know, preview show, like, you thought it was going to go the distance because MJ is tough. He's a big guy. And you could see in the ring, like, MJ is a big guy. He does have power. But like Jesus said, our good friend of the show, like, he took the payday. He came in there and he was trying to survive the fight against Inoue. That's what I saw. And Inoue demolished him round by round. And he was breaking him down every round. He didn't get the stoppage, but just the patience that Inoue had in that fight showed a lot. And I think even the fact that he was better defensively, being a little bit more cautious, because we saw the Cardenas fight. That was a war, right? And we also saw Inoue get dropped by Luis Neri. Like, Inoue at the same time, even though he's been dropped, he's been learning a lot from those fights. And that has shown. And that only makes a fighter really great. You talk about, you know, pound for pound. You talk about the fact that he's going to be fighting 4 times in a year. or within a year or whatever. The fact that he's so active, that's what places him like number one for me every time, because it's the activity, right? But then at the same time, I think it's kind of cool that Bud like takes off for a whole year and he comes back. It's like, yeah, I'm the best. He fight like it's crazy. It's just like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna beat up on the guy that literally held down boxing for like a decade. You're the biggest pay-per-view fighter. Don't worry, I got this. Comes back a year and like annihilates him. Like, let's be serious here. Like, you could tell Bud was up. And you were just like, man, it doesn't seem like Canelo's going to stop him in that fight. But that I'm still talking about that fight because it's so amazing what Bud did. Dude, it's so amazing what Bud did. But I'm talking about Bud because there's 3 of them and you continue to switch them. It's Usyk, it's Bud, and it's Inoue. And like, I really think it's 1A, B, C. I think we're just very lucky to have seen Inoue, Usyk, and Bud in one era. But I will say this. I hate the fact that people, and I think it's mostly people in North America, Brian, that don't give Inoue his credit. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because he fights in Japan and maybe they don't catch his fights at 4 a.m. I don't know if you're here on the West Coast. But he doesn't get enough credit. Inoue is like one of the greatest fighters of this generation. And he's gone through weight classes, just going through weight classes, just beating everybody that's at the top of the division. And he continues to go through these weight classes and he deserves his respect. I don't think Inoue has anything else to prove. We know what's next for him. But at the same time, it's like, are we going to see him move up to another weight class? So, Brian, we know who he's fighting next. Should we talk about that? Are you excited for that fight?
Yay, David Picasso. Now he's going to be the guy that allegedly pushes Naoya Inoue. David Picasso, who barely beat somebody who's 15-4 in his last fight. Like, woo! You know,
is this happening in December?
Allegedly, yeah, allegedly. This might be
around Christmas time because that's when Inoue likes to fight.
He loves fighting around American holidays. That's probably why people in North America don't really like him like that.
You know what? I love it because it gives me something to be excited about during the holidays, other than like NBA basketball, because like, you know, the NFL also has great games during Christmas time, but Inoue always fights during Christmas time. And it's always like Boxing Day or something like that. And it's like, okay, I'm going to stay up and watch this fight. I think he knocks out David Picasso.
I don't disagree with that. 32-0-1 with 17 knockouts, 25 years old, from Mexico. I talked to somebody who thought he was Italian the other day.
How is that the Italian flag? Like, that person needs to go back to school.
No, it was just the name. They were like, I just assumed he was Italian. I was like,
and then also like the flag, because they have similar colors. I could see how that person made a mistake.
No, Mexican flag is actually one of the dopest. So like, yeah, I mean, it was also somebody who was Japanese, I believe. Kameda. That's who he went to distance with, had a majority decision. I thought it could have easily been a draw. And I remember watching this. I remember we might have even talked about it because was this on the Pacquiao card? Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was on the Pacquiao card. And I remember it was on the undercard. We talked about it. I'm like, this is who's supposedly going to fight Inoue next?
He's gonna body him. Like,
I think this is a stay busy fight until we get to Nakatani, because
which is smart though, Brian, because you want to be active and you want to have I guess like kind of a stay busy fight before you fight a guy like Nakatani, right? Like, I think that's smart.
Well, also Picasso, to be fair, is like, he would be coming down in weight from featherweight, unless Inoue moves up to fight him at featherweight, because then that changes things a little bit. But like, he also like he's gonna have a bit, like, he's 5'8", and Inoue's 5'5", 70-inch reach. So like, he's gonna have a height and reach advantage. Inoue's reach is around 67, 68 inches. Not that it matters, but like, if you're saying this is a get busy fight, a prep fight before Nakatani, because Yahoo even posted, like, Inoue also called out fellow pound for pound star Junto Nakatani, who was ringside watching. One more fight that I'm going to get you, Nakatani, Inoue told his Japanese rival, which goosebumps, first of all. But like, if you're telling me this is like the build-up fight to Nakatani, then that's great. I just don't like it. Don't sell to me like this is going to be a stiffer test than what we've seen, unless something shocking happens. Because to be fair, I didn't see Ramon Cardenas dropping Inoue either. None of us did.
But we said it would be a tough fight, actually. Like, we did
That's
predict
fair.
that was going to be like a tougher fight and like one of his tougher opponents. I think for a guy like Picasso, I just think in terms of skill, Inoue is like light years ahead of him. But I hate to say this, for a very long time, I just like was watching Inoue for him to knock out dudes. Like, I'd be like, he's gonna knock this dude out. I gotta watch this. It might happen in the first 6 rounds. For some reason, that is exciting for me to watch because he's just so great at what he does. So I'm not mad at this, Brian. Like, I think the Nakatani fight is the fight that we all want to see. That fight is going to be in Japan. Obviously, it has to be. It makes the most sense. But Brian, that is probably going to be, if it does happen next year, and I think it will happen early next year, like within the first quarter. This is one of the biggest fights to make in boxing. Am I wrong? This is
No,
huge.
and also, there's no chance the Picasso fight would be at featherweight. He'd have to come down because Nakatani would
It's
be
coming
moving.
up.
Yeah, right. So because in a way, if he's gonna move up to featherweight, he's gonna fight Nakatani first. He's not gonna move up to featherweight and then fight Nakatani after. I don't think, at least. Funny, they're both 31-0 now, combined 51 knockouts because Inoue has 27, Nakatani is 24. I agree. It's one of the biggest fights in boxing. It's the biggest fight in Asian boxing for sure. Internationally, it's one of the biggest fights. But to answer something you said that we kind of just moved away from real quick about like America and why he's not as popular here. One is because we're incredibly myopic about every fucking thing, not just boxing, but everything, which is annoying as shit. But he doesn't fight here. Two, if you go through Inoue's resume, which I'll pull up now, if you go through all the guys he's fought, Akhmadaliev, not American, because this is the prism at which they view this stuff. Cardenas, not American, and also like even though he is where is he? No, he is American. He's Mexican American. Cardenas is American, but he's not somebody that people were like super familiar with beforehand. I wasn't sure if he was born in
Man,
Mexico
but you know
or
what's
born in
crazy?
Montreal.
San Antonio produces some really good boxers.
Of course,
Like they produce a lot of good. Like a Ramon Cardenas is from San Antonio, and I just keep on thinking about the San Antonio pool. Like they just produce so many good boxers, dude.
and you know what the issue is? Like, even though Ramon Cardenas is American, the issue is that American fight fans probably had was the timing of the fight because it was during that weekend where you had the bullshit Times Square card and the bullshit Canelo School card. And then by then people were like, oh, all right, fuck
Wasn't it
boxing
on a
now.
Monday? It
It
was
was on
like
a
a long
Sunday.
weekend.
It was
Okay,
a
yeah.
Sunday. And people were like, fuck boxing at that point. Because people like casual fight fans are like, what is this going on in Times Square? Like, what's the what? I've heard of Ryan Garcia, and then the Canelo Alvarez fight. Obviously, they've heard of Canelo Alvarez, but a lot of these people still don't know who Inoue is. Like I'm telling you, like they still don't. Ye Jun Kim, nobody cared. TJ Doheny, nobody cared. Luis Neri, another dude, and he's actually from Mexico that I don't think a lot of people heard of like that. Marlon Zapala's huge in Asia, different here. And then Stephen Fulton was a guy like that. That's one that had some noise over here, but like not really that much because who the fuck is Stephen Fulton relative to like most American boxing stars? There are barely any American boxing stars. Seriously, like in terms of notoriety and popularity to a casual fight fan, how many casuals you think know who Stephen Fulton is?
Okay, casual, yeah, casual, yeah.
But this is
I guess
this is
it's
what
hard.
we're talking about.
It's hard to like think about it in that perspective because like we're like nerds for boxing, right? So when we're saying these names, I'm like, oh, like that's
No,
huge. But it's like the regular fan doesn't think like that.
Well, we're actually good to talk about this because you and I cover a vast, like a variety of different sports. So we come across other people who work in sports and who follow sports very closely who don't know who any of these fucking people are.
Yeah.
There are people who like really, really, really like high level sports analysts or whatever. And there are people like Stephen A. Smith, for example, was at the fight, the fight this weekend. You think he knows who Inoue is? Inoue's fought on ESPN. Do you think he actually knows who Inoue is?
I think he knows.
Maybe. How many times do you think he's seen Inoue fight?
I don't know, Brian. I can't guess that, but I would figure he would know because he works for ESPN. Like, I think he knows what's going on within boxing, but he might not know like Inoue's entire record and stuff like that. I think he's a bad example because it's
No,
like
I don't. I don't. I
you don't
think
think
he's a
Stephen
great
A is a bad
example
example? I think a
because
good example is
he's the most famous sports
someone like Pat
commentator in
McAfee.
America.
Someone like Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee don't know who Inoue is. That's a better example. Because at least Stephen A. Smith tries to talk about boxing.
WWE gives him a check. I'm wondering. I don't know. But the point, these are good examples. I think Stephen A. Smith is like the perfect example because he's like viewed as the authority, quote unquote, on sports commentary, even though he's not. But like a lot of people view that's not shade. Like he legitimately just like isn't. You know what I mean? He's very good at what he does, but it's not for
I
everybody.
think he's the biggest face in sports media.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? But I
But
do
he when has he ever covered like an Inoue fight?
I don't but here's the thing, like I think ESPN in general has gone away from covering these big fights. I know for a fact, like, and we've seen this like when Max Kellerman was on First Take, they would try to cover the fights, right? But they'd only cover like the very big American fights. If it was like Canelo or like Bud and Spence, they covered you
They did
know,
something on this fight.
Deontay Wilder, of course, because it was the biggest
Yeah,
fight of
they
like the
brought
decade.
back Teddy Atlas and had him
Yeah.
with Tim Bradley. I was like, what?
But like I think like he knows the sport and the names. I don't know if he's like going crazy for like an Inoue fight and breaking it down on his show because like people just don't cover boxing like that, right? Because like you said, and this is something, you know, when international stars are huge. Did they do anything for Usyk and Fury? Like they must have done something for that.
Oh God, I don't even remember. I mean, so Fury's a name that is crazy because Usyk is clearly better. He's beaten him twice. Fury is a name that crosses over more though, but that's also because like there are a lot of antics that come with Tyson Fury. He also sells himself in America. He's fought in America more and all these different things. And but the reason
I'll say this though, and this is someone that, you know, is an American. If Americans just care about what's going on in America, and I know this because I've like lived in America, I've worked in America.
it's true.
You guys only care about what's going on in America, and you guys only really know what's going on in America. And it's unfortunate because
Not
there's so
me.
many not you, but there's some things that you will say to me on a voice note, and I'm like, no, like this, like, what are you talking about? Like you should know this, right? So there are some things where I'm like, no, like where do you get that from? But it's an American thing. And so if you're not, and this is no shade, it's just that you guys are
No
so
shade.
consumed.
Americans are the worst. We suck.
Dude, I'll let you say that. But at the same time, dude, but hear this. At the same time, a lot of people that aren't American want to be American. For example, I want to work in America full time,
Less so
right?
than before.
So okay, well that's another thing. But like I'm saying, like it's kind of the give and take, right? Like America is I don't know, they stuff down America down your throat every day, every day, every day. And that's all you guys get all the time. But like in other places around the world, we get a lot of international news and like we know a little bit more about international sports because it's fed to us. Because for a lot of countries, for example, in Canada, a lot of the best athletes are not Canadian. I'll say it right here, except for right now in basketball, like SGA, you could argue is. But that's the thing. So we're able to cover different sports because a lot of athletes are not Canadian. So we're hearing about like what's going on in America. We're hearing on what's going on in UK and Japan because of Inoue. So it's different. But in America, it's like you guys have some of the best athletes in the world in every sport. You guys dominate pretty much every sport. So it's like if I'm doing American media, yeah, I'm talking about Americans. Like so like there's the pros and cons to it, but I understand why America is like that.
Yeah, it's just arrogance, to be honest. Because, like, for example, I'm probably the only person here who was covering Eurobasket at the level that I had, where
Yeah.
Eurobasket, AmeriCup, like I'm covering these international things, and I'm the person telling people here, like, no, you should care about these things, and they only want to tune in for the Olympics because that's when Team USA turns out their best team. But this is why this shit matters so much more to a lot of different people. Like, for example, even comparing it to a place like Puerto Rico, who I know they're technically a colonized American territory, who doesn't get a lot of benefit from that, but they produce the most world champions per capita. It's still true. And it matters so much when you get like they send a team to the Olympics and it's like throw a fucking party. America does, and it's like if you're supposed to be here, you're American. You know what I mean? Like it's a totally different thing. Perfect example of what you're talking about is me and Astrid looked up recently What's the most popular sport in every country? Most popular sport in every single country.
In
Like
America has to be football,
just
right?
country by country by country by country. So you're going around the world and you're seeing cricket in different parts of like the Middle East, for example. You're seeing basketball different parts of the world. You're seeing a lot of soccer, a lot of football, obviously, all over the place. And then America is just like American football.
But I bet you Canada was hockey. I bet you 100%.
Canada was hockey. The only
Yeah.
other country that had something that was specific to them was Australian rules football
And rugby.
Yeah, right. Like like
which would make sense because like
I think New Zealand had rugby and Australia had Australian rules football, whatever.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, we are incredibly just people here think that the most important shit going on is here. And this is why someone like Inoue, if they stay over there, they don't cross over in that same way. By the way, I don't think Inoue has to, because one, he's already done it here, but two, he's cemented where he's from. He's an all-time great, going to be a Hall of Famer, all these different things, undisputed multiple weight classes. He maybe could do it in another weight class. We'll see. He also makes a shit ton of money fighting where he's from.
well, that's my thing. Like, Inoue doesn't have to leave Japan. He doesn't have to go anywhere to fight. He can fight in Japan. Like, that fight with him and Nakatani, it would be dope if we could have it in America. But here's the thing. It wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't. And they can have it at the Tokyo Dome. Like at the Dome. Like it's gonna be crazy, right? And like the thing is, Inoue doesn't actually have to leave, but he's come and he's fought in America. And I think people would love to see more of Inoue, but he doesn't have to. He makes a ton of money. So it's just like, if I can fight at home and I don't have to like leave, and all my opponents are coming to me and I'm making a lot of money, I'm not leaving. I'm fighting at home every time, because it's like you're also in a routine as a boxer, right? So that's why I always give credit to guys that like go to the UK, and like American guys that go to the UK and fight in the UK, because like that's another, I love the way like UK fans come up for boxing. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Like, I wish the culture in the UK for boxing was like that where I live.
Same.
I would love that. And it's amazing. But America has great boxing culture too. I mean, we
not anymore. Not like that. They just come out for like the big things. LC drops. He's been active in the comments. He drops Inoue is more popular and heard of in Asia. That is a fact, though, especially because boxing is less popular in the US nowadays. Yeah. LC, I could tell you, and we can tell you from experience, there aren't a lot of outlets who want to cover boxing here. Whereas if shit happens in the UK, like they cover it like it's part of sports. Like they're talking about Dillian White, they're interviewing Natasha Jonas. Like these aren't even like the biggest stars in the UK, but they're being covered like they're actual athletes. Here, it's like the one big fight that comes around every couple of months. They'll talk about it a little bit, and that's it. Like, you know, where I work, both places I work at, we didn't even put out a video for this fight. So I was doing shit on my own channel. They didn't even they have me. And they just, our boxing stuff doesn't do that well, which is bullshit, honestly.
You think that's bad? I work for the biggest national television network in Canada, which is equivalent to ESPN, and they didn't even cover it. And I work for them, and they could have just sent me because I'm on the West Coast, and they didn't even cover it at all.
That's American boxing media right now. Like that's what it is. Like that. No one, like, now that this fight is over, you're going to see how little America cares about this. No one's going to talk about Boots Ennis' fight next month.
Well, that's a fight nobody cares about. Let's be serious.
Well, I only say that just because Boots is like, you know.
He should be fighting better competition.
That's true.
But it's like, but everyone else in that division is fighting somebody else. Okay, sorry, that's another topic.
Sebastian Fundora versus Keith Thurman. We'll see how much, like, that's probably like your standard solid main event. We'll see how much coverage that gets.
I don't even care about that fight, but I care about Stephen Fulton and Oshaki Foster.
You have two dudes who are American, because Fundora is Mexican American. And Keith Thurman's American. And Keith Thurman's a name. Like, Keith Thurman's been popular like for a long time.
I just want to see Virgil Ortiz and Sebastian Fundora now. Like, that's what I want to see, and I want to see Virgil Ortiz whoop his ass. Sorry, like I love Virgil in that weight class, but whatever. Brian, we kind of like dove in deep into like Inoue and him not getting culture and all of that. But we both agree like he's gonna fight Picasso, and then the next fight would be, you know, Gento Nakatani, which is huge. And then I think we should have a small conversation about when he does that, it would be time for him to move up, right? But here's the thing. He's 30 years old. I think he can have that fight, make a ton of money. They could probably do like a rematch and a trilogy fight for that. And I think he can sail off into the sunset.
How old is he?
He's like 30.
No, he's older than that.
31?
Is he? No, closer to. Okay, so he's going to be 33 in April.
Okay.
So let's say he does fight in December, which is the plan. He was supposed to fight December last year, and then Sam Goodman got hurt like a second time, and then they.
I wonder if they try to make that Sam Goodman fight too.
Would you rather see Goodman than Picasso?
Yeah, I would. I would, but at the same time, I think Picasso, like, he's a Mexican fighter. You know, he's going to give his all. So I'm excited.
The problem is Sam Goodman. He just lost to Nick Ball. More competitive fight than I expected. I'm not gonna lie. So he's not gonna get that fight. But regardless, I think that when we see Inoue against Nakatani, it'll probably be after his 33rd birthday, because I don't think you're gonna do 4 fights in a year and then April, like early on. Like I think take some time, man. I do think Inoue, granted, he didn't break much of a sweat against Akhmadaliev, it looked like, but I think May, June, whatever, something like that. He'll
probably be back in March.
So to your point, like, yeah, I mean, you could do Nakatani and walk away, because the Bam Rodriguez one is like that feels tougher.
We'll see Nakatani and Bam. That's what we'll see. We're gonna see Nakatani and Bam. But here's the thing. It's like, here's the thing, and I'm not saying this like as something that's negative, but like we've seen fights get a little bit tougher for Inoue. Like we've seen him get dropped by some powerful guys, and LC, friend of the show, says, no, I would rather see Inoue fight at 126, and I think so. But at the same time, like, you think 126 is too much for Inoue? Because at some point when you're moving up weight classes, unless you're Bud Crawford, there's going to be a cap, right? Because the guys at 126, they got length, they got size, like it's different. One of my favorite fighters is in 126.
Rafael Espinoza.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I know a lot of Inoue fans. I'm gonna go with Rafael Espinoza if Inoue's to fight him. But at the same time, like, he makes so many mistakes, Rafael, but that's why I like him.
You know what I'm gonna do? We're gonna pull up the ranking.
Yes, pull up the
featherweight. I think he'll be fine in this weight class. So, we'll wrap on this, but I think he'll be fine in this weight class. Fulton's here. It's worth noting Fulton's going to fight O'Shaquie Foster. So Fulton might actually, I don't think
he'll fight moving Fulton. Up? Is he moving up?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think Stephen Fulton, he might not be here for that much longer, because, wow, I made that sound really morbid. He's fighting O'Shaquie Foster for 130 title, WBC super featherweight title. That's actually going to be on the Sebastian Fundora Keith Thurman card, which I think that's the fight you're going to care about the most.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a boxing match. Jesus Christ, Fulton and O'Shaquie Foster. I don't know who I have for that one yet.
That's the one I'm excited for. I could care less about Thurman and Fundora.
But I think Inoue's another dude like Bud who could transcend the weight that we may think is too much. Same thing with Usyk at heavyweight. Like, I had some questions about, like,
I didn't. I was like, this dude just cleared out the cruiserweight division. Like, they were saying he was too small, but the way Usyk moves around the ring and his high IQ, like, I was like, I thought, I knew he was gonna body AJ. There's no way.
AJ, I had no doubt, because I'm not as high on AJ as you are, for example. The Tyson Fury one, I picked Tyson Fury to win the first fight. Granted, I said it was gonna be very close. I said it was going to be very close, and it was close up until he got rocked. But like, and then after that, I was like, nah.
But you're also a Fury fan.
Well,
so I think that played into your pick. You love Tyson Fury from the heavyweights. Yeah, you love. There's two guys that you love in heavyweight: Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury.
No, love is too strong, considering
like a lot.
Some off the court antics and comments. Perhaps I wouldn't go that.
Let's not get political. We'll be here all day. We'll be here all day when we get political.
No, he talks a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But no, I think Tyson Fury is really good, but at the same time, it's more like, he might be too big, because he's 6'9", 270, and he can move like a welterweight. But at the same time, Usyk is different. Like, he can move like a welterweight also.
Yeah.
But the point being, I think in a way, like, he beats Angelo Leo, he beats Nick Ball. By the way, I think Nick Ball, like, I could see Nakatani and then Nick Ball because they've actually had a back and forth before Inoue and Nick Ball. So if Nick Ball still has a title by then and doesn't
Let's
move up,
get Rafael Espinoza and Nick Ball.
Rafael, yeah, visually I want to see that fight. I'd probably favor Espinoza, but look, he got dropped by Robesi Ramirez. So,
but that's the thing; it doesn't matter if you get dropped; it's how you finish, man. Like,
no, but like Nick, I saw.
But let's also keep in mind, Robesi Ramirez was supposed to win that fight. He was the A side. All of Miami was there. And all the Cubans came out for that.
Nick Ball got robbed against Ray Vargas, who's like 7 feet tall.
Where is Ray Vargas?
I have no idea.
If anyone can find him, we've been looking for him. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, but I think if Inoue moves up, the Espinoza matchup is the one that I would have the most questions about. But
that's the only one where I'm like, I don't know how Inoue combats that style and that speed, but at the same time, like, if his power transcends to 126, and I think that's very possible. Also, just in terms of like high IQ, Inoue's like one of the smartest fighters of all time, and like that's a close fight. I think it could go two ways. I think Rafael Espinoza could win a very close one. Just in terms of work rate, because his work rate's crazy. Or I don't know. I'm just rocking with Espinoza in that fight because he's one of my favorite fighters.
I'm not.
I think I would be on a solo island like how I was with Cool Boy Steph.
Maybe.
Remember, I was like the only one.
Not a good example.
Yeah, but
and all due respect to Bruce Carrington, but no,
Espinoza is the best in this weight class, in my opinion.
I think Carrington's good, but I think Inoue beats I think he could clear out this division. The problem is like, will it take too long, and will he get too old? By that point. Is I guess the question. And to answer your Ray Vargas thing, and we'll end here. He hasn't fought since the Nick Ball fight a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Like you see him at fights and he's just like, yeah.
Don't know, it's not Ray Vargas.
Where are you? By the way, guys, don't you guys think Turk has like the worst shadow boxing ever?
Bro, did you remember when they posted him with Eminem and he was like this into the camera?
Dude, like they showed him on the camera and he was sitting down and he's like this.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that? Is that a hook? Or like, what are you doing? What are you doing, bro? Maybe you should just sit down and pay people money because don't do that.
Sit down and pay people money. The ring account posted, Turk walk into the ring, whatever, because they're trying to like do the social media thing and make him look like a star. And like all you see is just straight, like no offense, but just straight love handles. Just all around.
I was also gonna say, I think he's trying to be cool by like wearing these graphic tees, but he just looks like he's out of place. Like the tees like don't fit him properly. Like he should probably wear a bigger t-shirt.
He's got money, bro. He's got money.
I'm just like, what are they doing? They're trying to make him so likable, and it's just like so funny. I'm sorry, guys. This is why Bryan and I will probably never be able to cover a Ring magazine fight. But it's just like, it's hilarious. But to end things off, I think Inoue has nothing to prove. And for anyone that is doubting him, like he's one of the best fighters of this generation. And I think he deserves his flowers now because I don't know if we're like, he's like already, you could say like first ballot for Boxing Hall of Fame, man.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing to say. He's one of the best fighters of all time, in my opinion. And we've been so lucky to be able to see him, Usyk, and Bud within the same era. Yeah, that's all I have to say about it.
I'll throw Bivol in there too.
Yeah, I know. Another guy that Bryan loves, Dimitri Bivol. So
again, and another guy who has some out the ring question marks, but we'll leave that to the side.
We could stay here forever if we did that. Some of my favorite fighters. Like people get mad at me. Like I had painted like this like Mike Tyson punch out canvas, and people were like so mad that I had that up, like women. But I was like, he's like one of my favorite fighters, so whatever.
Yeah. Anyways. I mean, but I get it.
Controversial, but whatever. It's my house.
Chris Brown, Mike Tyson.
I am upset I didn't get to go to the Breezy Bowl, but whatever. I'm like really upset about it, but I went last year to his concert, so I'm like, okay, I'll let it go. I'll let it go. If we like judge people of like what they did outside of things, like everybody's got. I don't think everyone's got something like that bad, but like everyone's
there's a
got
line.
Something.
There's a line. There's a clear line.
I just like to see what I see on TV in terms of like what they do in the sport, and that's all I'm judging. because like like you can't judge people for what they do outside. Like that's just not fair. You know what I mean?
Depending on what they do.
I mean, there is some stuff that happened this past week that was very controversial that we may have thoughts about, but we're not going to say anything because we don't want to, get fined. Anyways, Bryan, is there anything that you want to say? We don't want to lose our jobs. You know what I mean? But you might see us like a few tweets here and there. Anyways.
No, you won't, because the likes are hidden.
Oh, great, because I've been liking this stuff.
Instagram is where they get you. So all you dudes out there who like are married, just be careful.
Oh, I wasn't talking about that. I was liking content.
I am, because I'm trying to veer the conversation in a different direction before I say something else.
Okay, let's get out of here because I gotta go anyway.
Naoya Inoue is top 3 in the world. Debate your mother. The end.
We'll be back later next week.